You know, today is just the 48th day of 2015, but it's already moving and shaking time in the 2016 race for the White House. So no, it is not too early to start covering the next presidential election. First up today, Scott Walker, the Republican governor of Wisconsin, best known for his union-busting efforts in the Badger State. And this weekend, he got the spotlight treatment in the Times with a piece on Walker's proposed cuts to the state university system in Wisconsin, particularly as a 2016 issue. Far-right Republicans, like many GOPers in Iowa, to quote the article, think that, quote, state universities have become elite bastions of liberal academics that do not prepare students for work and are a burden on taxpayers. Now, Jeannie, I know as an educator you probably disagree with that. Meanwhile, by the way, Walker has topped one GOP poll in Iowa and is currently running second in the RCP poll average there. Only he, Jeb Bush, and Mike Huckabee, who won Iowa in 2008, are actually polling above 10% in Iowa. And as I was saying, Jeannie, as a professor, you probably disagree with that assessment of higher academics. Let's focus instead on Scott Walker. How seriously should we take him as a Republican candidate in 2016?
You know, I think he is on the short list, so I think we have to take him seriously. Hence the Times piece this weekend, hence Gail Collins' op-ed, which they had to, step back from to a certain extent after some of what she wrote was found to be not true. He has to be taken very seriously. Look, the Republicans are going to be looking for a Republican who is not in Washington, D.C., somebody who has been an executive, so a governor or a former governor, and Scott Walker, for all the issues he's had, and he's had plenty of them, and I firmly disagree with his stance on education, he is a formidable candidate at this point, and he needs to be taken very seriously if you look at the polls and his ability to raise money and his name recognition.
But Dominic, if you do the farmer's market test, you go to the farmer's market, you ask 10 people, who's Scott Walker? I'm guessing 8 out of the 10 won't know who he is, maybe 9 out of the 10. He's really got to do a job building his name recognition, and building his brand.
He's got to be taken seriously. I agree with the professor. But did you see his answers that he gave while he was in London on foreign policy? It was embarrassing. I mean, he's a governor that beat back the unions. So based on that alone, we have to take him seriously. But I think, honestly, Andrew, I really believe this. Maybe I'm wrong, that you have a better chance of being elected president than Scott Walker does.
Maybe not on the Republican line.
Here's the issue about the 8 out of 10 people that you mentioned. This is not about 8 out of 10 people. It's about 8 out of 10 Republican primary and caucus goers. And they like people like Scott Walker.
You should consider becoming a professor, because that's
Thank you, Andy.
But Mike Huckabee won Iowa, right, in 2008, right?
Yeah. Right.
And we see how good that worked out for him.
And Iowa is not a good telltale sign,
not a good bellwether.
And let's not forget, Wisconsin, Iowa, they're pretty close to each other. All right, so if Scott Walker is going to be a player, he'd be something of a sleeper, given that I don't think a lot of people know who he is going into it. Give me the name of another sleeper candidate we should be watching out for from the Republicans.
Another Republican governor, John Kasich. Again, like Scott Walker, a lot of people don't know a lot about John Kasich.
I was about to say who?
You know who he is. He was in the House. He is obviously a governor at this point. He won 86 of the 88 precincts in his area, in his state. He has been elected twice, and he is from a very important state. So John Kasich is somebody to watch, and he's a moderate Republican.
Dom, sleeper?
I don't have a sleeper. I'm sorry.
I've got another one for you.
You got another one? Good.
I've got another one for you.
Other Dominic, sleeper?
Because Jeb Bush has this nomination. But Professor, go ahead. Let's hear the sleeper.
Go ahead, say
my
Pataki.
other one is, Susana Martinez from New Mexico, the governor of New Mexico.
Oh, the one who's
elected
not running.
Twice. She's not running.
And what did you just say? Because I don't think I heard you correctly. Did you just say George Pataki?
I may have.
You said George Pataki.
Well, he would be a sleeper.
Governor, he would be
a sleeper. You have to give me that much.
A real sleeper.
The former governor of New York. That George Pataki.
Yes. All right. Why don't we move on as the laughter stops? Or doesn't. Next up, the battle across the nearly frozen Hudson River. What would happen if former New York Senator Hillary Clinton faced off against New Jersey Governor Chris Christie in the 2016 general election? Well, we got a pretty good idea of what would happen in the Garden State. Hillary would win in a landslide. Yet another poll shows Christie getting crushed by Clinton. This one from Eagleton has Hillary up 23 points over the state's current governor. Dominic, I know how you feel about Chris Christie. So, Jeannie, if Christie can't win New Jersey against the presumptive Democratic nominee, should he just give it up?
Not necessarily.
Don't you have to win your home state?
You really should win your home state. It's a good idea. That said, it's a very blue state. So, you know, when they are judging a very popular Hillary Clinton versus a not so popular, particularly in New Jersey now, Christie, he might not pull it out. I agree with you. It is good form to win your own state, but
I would say so.
But it doesn't mean he's necessarily out of it in my mind. I mean, I think he's out of it for other reasons, but if you're putting it in that, you know, hypothetical, I think he could still go forward.
No, we already know what you think on this, Dominic. Finally, the two most popular women in the Democratic Party, turns out they had a secret meeting in December. Hillary Clinton invited Elizabeth Warren for a one-on-one at the Clinton home in D.C., and we mean one-on-one. No aides, no friends, no bill, no nothing. Clinton reportedly solicited policy ideas and suggestions from the Massachusetts senator. She apparently did not seek nor get Elizabeth Warren's endorsement. So I have two questions out of all of this. And I'm going to start with Jeannie again.
Okay.
Jeannie, what does Hillary want and need from Elizabeth Warren? What does Elizabeth Warren want and need from Hillary Clinton?
I think Hillary Clinton wants the mantle of the progressive candidate that you know that Elizabeth Warren represents. She won't get that, but if Elizabeth Warren, Bill de Blasio, and other progressives support her, she will have what she needs to grasp the left and to move forward through the primaries and caucuses into the general election. I think what Elizabeth Warren needs, she's a first-term senator from Massachusetts. She needs the support of the party establishment to move forward and hopefully, in her mind, I'm sure, to run for president in the future. So she needs that establishment support.
Dom, I think most people think that Hillary Clinton is going to be the Democratic nominee, but to win the general...
I told you guys from day one, she's not just going to be the Democratic nominee, she's the next president of the United States. And I'm saying that objectively as a journalist.
And you told me that back in the 90s, so you've been saying it for a while. But how badly does she need the progressive left in order to beat a Republican challenger?
Well, she's got to... Hillary Clinton definitely has to unite the party. She's going to need every vote, especially if she's up against somebody like a Jeb Bush. She doesn't want what happened to Andrew Cuomo, where every day the story becomes the attack from the left that Hillary can't coalesce and unite the party.
All right, we're going to take a quick break on RFL, some talk at the table right after this.